Hello, everyone. You're listening to Psychology Outside the Box. My name is Dr. Flower. I have a PhD in psychology, so I'm not a wannabe or a knockoff. I've been teaching college and university courses for 20 years. Psychology is a vast field that connects to many things in your life. If you have a curious mind, you're definitely in the right place. This podcast will be interesting and informative, fun but factual. I will open your mind to new ideas and new ways of thinking. So sit back and enjoy the ride. I really hope you all like surprises. You do? Well, good, because we have a surprise test today. There are only 2 questions. First, do you know the meaning of the word Armageddon? And second, do you know how to spell this word? All right, stop complaining. Let's just forget about the test. Who cares if you can't spell Armageddon or don't even know what it means? It's not like it's the end of the world. Movies tell us that there are many threats to humanity's existence. And just as we know that everything on the internet is true, we can also be pretty sure that movies know exactly what they're talking about. It could be an alien invasion from outer space, a zombie apocalypse, or destruction by artificial intelligence that we have created. Impossible, you say? In the book Alice in Wonderland, Alice says to the White Queen,
"One can't believe impossible things."
The Queen responds that she sometimes believes as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. I can't solve all of these problems in one podcast, so today I will focus on the zombie apocalypse. For decades now, the idea of zombies has been popular in movies and television shows. One well-known modern zombie movie did not arise from the dead until 1968, when George Romero shocked audiences with The Night of the Living Dead. While the idea of the undead may seem far-fetched, zombies can actually provide a better insight into the human brain. But in the event of a zombie apocalypse, you must also know and understand your enemy if you are to have any chance of survival. So I will help you to do that. So be sure to take notes. I don't want to have to repeat myself. It is widely accepted that zombies are driven purely by instinct and the desire to find their prey and feed. So do zombie brains really shut down all higher cognitive functions, leaving only the most basic survival instincts? The assumption is that inside the zombie brain, there is not a whole lot going on. But that would be just too easy. In one episode of The Walking Dead, a scientist explains how the virus invades the brain and shuts it down, which leads to death. But later on, the virus reactivates the brainstem and creates the walking dead, or zombies. But they have lost elements of the brain that makes us who we are. The part that makes you is gone. The brainstem connects the rest of the brain to the spinal cord, which runs down your neck and back. The brainstem is in charge of all the functions your body needs to stay alive, like breathing air, swallowing, digesting food, circulating blood, and heart function. Fortunately, the brainstem handles these jobs automatically, so you do not have to decide consciously to breathe or remember to keep your heart beating. If we had to consciously control these vital functions, we would have no time to do the really important stuff in our lives, like browsing Amazon, texting friends, and watching Netflix. The brainstem is essential to our survival. Damage to it is life-threatening and usually fatal, but it does not allow us to walk, to see, to bite, or to think. These are more complex behaviors that would require the activation of almost all other areas of the brain, such as the visual and motor cortex. If only the brainstem is working, zombies could only lie still on the ground, doing nothing at all. Movies and TV shows would be a lot more boring. The frontal lobes are located just behind your forehead. This area of the brain allows humans to plan ahead, solve problems, and make complex decisions. This is the most highly advanced part of our brain and has contributed to our success as a species. Zombies are known for their stupidity. They appear to have malfunctioning or missing frontal lobes, so they can't think or reason the way humans do. They often can't figure out how to open doors and rarely, if ever, plan ahead. They are terrible problem solvers. In fact, they seem to have only one thought in their brain: eat the living, eat the living, eat the living. For humans, even simple acts like giving someone the middle finger or else a thumbs up is a conscious decision from the brain. Likewise, throwing a ball, drinking a cup of coffee, scratching your head are all deliberate acts. Zombies do not have complex thoughts or reasoning skills. Zombies will not write a bestseller, but they do have to make dozens of smaller decisions that require some thinking from the frontal lobes. They must decide whether to go right or left or straight ahead. They lumber along with each step slow, clumsy, and arduous. But even such awkward movements require sending a command from the frontal lobe to the motor cortex. Walking does not happen in the absence of conscious thought. And when they see several humans, they must decide who looks the most delicious and perhaps easiest to catch. When close to a human, they must send more instructions to the motor cortex, asking the arms to grab the human and instructing the mouth to bite the neck. If we could wrestle a zombie into an fMRI machine, we could more accurately evaluate the extent of brain activity in different brain regions. Any volunteers out there who are willing to wrestle a zombie? Free lunch will be provided. If all goes well, that free lunch will go to the volunteer. If things go poorly, the zombie will get the free lunch. It's a safe bet that what a zombie is feeling is hungry. All zombies do is eat, and it doesn't seem to matter if they've already consumed half the town. They still want more. Once they catch a whiff of your flesh, they can't really think about much else. The only thing the zombies won't eat is comedians or clowns, because they taste so funny. Zombies are always hungry, and they don't believe in a balanced diet of fruits and vegetables. They like to eat humans, and they don't seem to ever get full. The hypothalamus, which tells you when you've eaten enough, is probably broken. The hypothalamus connects with many other regions of the brain and is responsible for regulating hunger, thirst, body temperature, and sleep. Damage to this part of the brain can cause animals to eat uncontrollably. In one episode of The Simpsons, zombies are about to eat the Simpson family, but Homer begs them to spare my family, take me, take me. The zombies prepare to eat Homer's brain, but first they tap his head like a melon to check if his brain's worth eating. But there's nothing in his noggin, so they move on to another victim. Homer is actually disappointed the zombies don't want to eat his brain. Why are brains a zombie's favorite snack? In fact, a human brain is very nutritious and a very high-calorie meal. The average human brain is about 3 pounds, and 60% of it is fat. And now you know where the term fathead comes from. Brains do contain quite a lot of vitamins and minerals, such as vitamin C, some B12, iron, and niacin. Gray matter is high in protein and refers to the billions of brain cell bodies. You could wash down the brain matter with some cerebral fluid, which will probably taste a little salty. Axons are nerve fibers that are the longest part of brain cells and transmit electrical impulses to other cells. Myelin is a fatty substance that is wrapped around axons in the brain and spinal cord. This helps electrical signals to transmit quickly and also provides insulation. Myelin is like the rubber coating on the outside of an electrical wire. So all that fat would give the zombies a lot of calories for energy. It turns out there are many recipes for cooking brains. One is to slice the brain, dip it in egg, spice it, and then deep fry it before putting it on bread for a sandwich. You can also bake, broil, or saute your brains. But zombies do not care about the joy of cooking. They only care about the joy of eating. They cannot be bothered to cook before they eat. What about zombie language? Zombies are not much at making small talk or conversation, and they don't really have any social skills. And they have no sense of humor. They are always dead serious. They may moan and snarl and growl, grunt, gurgle, and sometimes even shriek. No sounds that are intelligible to humans. Since thought and language go hand in hand, one reason for the absence of language may be the absence of complex thoughts. Another explanation may be damage to brain regions known as Broca's and Wernicke's areas. These two areas are almost always located on the left side of your brain. If these regions are damaged, it means that zombies cannot speak or comprehend language. Broca's area is related to speaking or producing words, and also plays a part in mouth movements and even gestures. Damage to Wernicke's area means that you cannot understand what people are saying. In humans, strokes in these areas will often disrupt speech or comprehension. This is called aphasia, and zombies are definitely suffering from some severe symptoms. What about the five senses in zombies? You might expect zombies to have poor vision, but their eyesight is actually pretty good. Lucky for us, it's not good enough for them to get a driver's license. Apparently, zombies not only have sight, they can still smell and hear as well. They react and are attracted to sounds and the smell of fresh humans. In fact, zombies have a razor-sharp sense of smell, at least when it comes to sniffing out living human flesh. As a last resort, you can try to smear yourself with decaying, disgusting flesh from dead zombies to hide your human scent. This is gross, but it just might work. Although zombies don't have common sense or a sense of humor, the five usual senses are operating reasonably well, including the visual cortex. Even the thalamus, which is a relay station for all sensory information, is working, and so is the spinal cord. Information about sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell is transmitted to the brain for processing. Messages telling the arms and legs to walk and grab are being sent out through the spinal cord as well. If a friend or family member is turned into a zombie, it's pretty safe bet they won't recognize or care who you are afterward. All they see is a human they can eat. They will not see a sister, a brother, a friend, or a loved one. The main reason your undead sister doesn't know you is because the part of her brain that recognizes faces doesn't work. So instead of giving you a hug, she bites your neck. There is in fact a small area in the brain called the fusiform gyrus that has only one job, and that is face recognition. This allows us to easily identify our family and friends and distinguish them from our enemies. Any damage to this area might result in face blindness. You're still able to recognize other objects, but faces are just a blur. Apparently, zombies do not have long-term memory. As I just mentioned, they have no recollection or recognition of former friends or family. In order to create long-term memories that remain for months or years, a part of the brain called the hippocampus must be working properly. Without it, no long-term memories can be created. Though zombies lack long-term memory, they do have what is called short-term memory. We are constantly using short-term memory throughout the day to read a book, watch a movie, or converse with a friend. Information in short-term memory lasts only for about 20 or 25 seconds and then disappears, unless it moves into long-term with help from the hippocampus. Even if zombies have seen you and are chasing you, they are likely very easily distracted. Perhaps they have ADHD, so find a quiet place to hide until something else grabs their attention and they'll soon forget about you altogether. You can use fireworks, flash grenades, or anything loud and bright as a distraction device. Any thoughts or ideas about chasing you or eating your brains will quickly vanish from short-term memory. Out of sight, out of mind, at least until they see you again. Or you could just wait for them to fall asleep and then escape. Many zombies go to bed early because they are dead tired. If a person is asked to imitate a zombie, one of the keys to the performance is movement. Zombies can either be slow zombies, as in The Walking Dead, or fast zombies, as in Zombieland. The slow-moving zombies are far more common, and so this gives us a better chance to run away. Normal people can walk around with good coordination. Zombies stagger around, seem clumsy, and bump into things. Their typical movement is lumbering with their arms out, reaching for your brains. The zombie shuffle suggests a problem with the cerebellum, which plays an important role in coordinated movements. Movement is a complex process that requires a number of different muscle groups working together. The cerebellum controls balance and coordination and how your muscles work together, resulting in smooth muscular activity. The cerebellum helps with developing any physical skills that involve your muscles, such as dressing yourself, texting your friends, playing sports, using a musical instrument, driving a car, preparing a meal, and so on. Humans may temporarily weaken their cerebellum when they drink too much, becoming clumsy and stumbling around and developing slurred speech. Damage to the cerebellum would explain why zombies have never appeared on an episode of Dancing with the Stars, and they are rarely seen playing basketball or football. Fast-moving zombies are a completely different story. Their physical movements are very well coordinated, suggesting a perfectly functioning cerebellum. Certainly the most noticeable thing about a zombie is the fact that they want to kill you. Zombies seem always to be in a bad mood, and they definitely have anger management issues. The amygdala is part of the limbic system within the brain and is key to how we process strong emotions such as fear, anxiety, aggression, and anger. In a threatening situation, the amygdala will send information to other parts of the brain to prepare the body to either face the situation or to get away from it. This is called the fight or flight response and has helped humans to survive for hundreds of thousands of years. Zombies are aggressive and violent all the time. They are dangerous and cannot be reasoned with. In zombies, the amygdala appears to have run amok, causing hyperaggression. So the zombie hypothalamus is saying hungry, 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 and the amygdala is saying attack, 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 and no frontal lobe to control or curb this confusion and chaos. What is the best way to kill the undead? Killing a zombie is just not that easy, even though it is already mostly dead. If a zombie is shot or stabbed through the heart, it should die as any human normally would. But this just doesn't work on a zombie. Body shots, strikes, and stabs slow them down or just piss them off, but don't kill. The only way to truly kill a zombie is a strike or shot or stab to the head. According to the 1968 classic Night of the Living Dead, kill the brain and you kill the ghoul. Even decades later, the only way to take out a zombie is to get to the head. Anything else, like blows to the heart or the guts, just won't do the trick. The brainstem has been identified by members of the Zombie Research Society, and yes, that's a real thing, as something called an instant kill. Makes sense. The brainstem is what keeps us alive, and even zombies cannot survive without it. So even a clumsy, violent zombie who wants only to eat human flesh must have a brain and also spinal cord that is mostly functional. Well, all good things must come to an end, including this podcast. But in the words of the Terminator, I'll be back. And I hope you will too. Okay, folks, it's all over for today. We're finished. We reached the end. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I will miss you so very much.